For decades, he was the ultimate symbol of American masculinity. Rugged, untamed, a lone wolf riding through the Wild West. He didn't just sell a cigarette, he sold the American dream. But here is the million-dollar plot twist they tried to bury. The most iconic, testosterone-fueled cigarette in human history was originally designed for women. This isn't just a story about a rebrand. This is the blueprint of the greatest corporate illusion ever pulled off. A masterclass in psychological manipulation that built a global empire, and the dark, deadly reality that eventually caught up with the very men paid to sell the lie. Welcome to Titan's Fall. Today we dissect the rise, the genius, and the tragic fallout of the Philip Morris empire. Let's wind the clock back to 1924. Philip Morris wanted a piece of the booming tobacco pie. But the market was already saturated with heavy hitters like Camel and Lucky Strike. So, PM decided to take a shot in the dark. They aimed for a totally untapped demographic, high society women. They called it Marlboro. The slogan? Mild as May. They even went as far as putting a red band around the filter to hide lipstick stains. It was a boutique product, and for a while, it was doing okay. But okay doesn't build empires. Fast forward to the early 1950s, and the bottom fell out. Scientists dropped a bombshell, conclusive studies linking smoking to lung cancer. The public was spooked. The golden age of guilt-free smoking was dead in the water. Millions of smokers were desperately looking for a safer alternative, specifically filtered cigarettes, which were practically non-existent for men at the time because filters were considered feminine. Philip Morris was bleeding money. They had a filtered cigarette, Marlboro, but men wouldn't be caught dead buying them. They were on the verge of going belly up. They needed a Hail Mary. And they found one, not in a laboratory, but in a Chicago advertising agency. Enter Leo Burnett, an advertising maverick who didn't just understand products, he understood human psychology. Philip Morris executives walked into his office sweating bullets. They essentially told him, "We have a woman's cigarette. We need to sell it to men who are terrified of getting cancer. Fix it." Burnett didn't just tweak the campaign, he tore it down to the studs. First, the packaging. Out with the soft, elegant packs. In with the flip-top box. Rigid, sharp, and it made a satisfying snap when you closed it. It felt like a piece of hardware in a man's pocket. But the real genius was the messaging. Burnett realized that post-war American men were feeling trapped. Trapped in cubicles, trapped in suits, trapped in the suburban rat race. They didn't want to hear about health statistics or safer filters. They wanted an escape. They wanted freedom. So, Burnett created a ghost, a phantom of absolute independence, the Marlboro Man. No celebrities, no talking. Just a rugged cowboy in Marlboro country with a cigarette hanging out of his mouth. It was a massive middle finger to the corporate grind. The result? Absolute, unprecedented domination. Within a year, Marlboro went from owning less than 1% of the market to becoming the fourth best-selling brand. Shortly after, it became number one. It was a cash cow unlike anything the world had ever seen. Philip Morris wasn't just printing money, they were minting cultural gold. But every empire built on smoke and mirrors eventually has to face the music. For decades, Philip Morris executives sat in their ivory towers, counting billions. They fiercely denied the health risks. They swore under oath that nicotine wasn't addictive. They played a high-stakes game of poker with public health, and for a long time, they were winning. But you can't outrun the Reaper forever. The very image that built the company began to tear it down. The men who portrayed the invincible Marlboro Man, the ultimate symbols of health and vitality, Wayne McLaren, David McLean, Dick Hammer, all of them died of lung cancer. McLaren, before his death in 1992, spent his final days hooked to an oxygen tank, actively campaigning against Philip Morris. The irony was suffocating. The cowboy had been killed by his own lasso. By the late 1990s, the writing was on the wall. The Master Settlement Agreement forced tobacco titans to cough up over $200 billion. The curtain had been pulled back. The Marlboro Man was banned from television. The glamorous illusion was shattered, leaving behind a legacy of disease and courtroom battles. Today, Philip Morris isn't dead, they just shape-shifted. They are aggressively pushing smoke-free futures and electronic devices, claiming they want to unsmoke the world. The exact same company that spent half a century covering up the truth is now asking for our trust in the modern era. It leaves you wondering, are we witnessing the redemption of a fallen titan, or just a new coat of paint on the same deadly machine? Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you want to see more deep dives into the shadows of the corporate world, hit that subscribe button. This is Titan's Fall. See you in the next one.